another episode of the Delco Duo on your Saturday nights on PHL 17. I'm Monica Cryan.
And I'm Jenna Meisner. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes. Monica, I have to point out our new gold microphones. So if you are an avid viewer, you maybe saw the other, like, a little bit bigger ones. But these ones are beautiful. Like, the entire thing is gold.
Eddie's going to get mad at me.
Oh, jeez. They just set them up all so nice, and now you're pulling it out. I said these are like our Mariah Carey mics.
Mariah Carey. I'm trying to think of another like diva. Like, I don't know. I feel like a Rihanna would use something like this. This is so exciting. I love it.
They're beautiful. So hopefully you can hear us at home. We love them.
Yes.
But it's a busy weekend.
It is a busy weekend.
A lot has been going on. Of course, we have the Phillies home opener.
Oh my gosh.
We have the holiday weekend.
The Phillies are back in season.
And the most important thing of all is we have the results of our Delco Bars March Madness. So we're going to debrief about that. Yes. Let's get to it.
Here is the big winner. I can't believe it. We've narrowed it down from 16. We started out with 16.
I'm very surprised by how we started and how we ended.
Yes, here's how it started. 16 teams, and it ended very closely, which I love. I love that this was close.
It was a battle. It was actually more entertaining than the real game.
Yes, Barnaby's and JD McGillicuddy's. Oh, you're saying
the real like basketball game,
which was
kind of a snooze fest. Yeah,
silly snooze fest. This was not. Barnaby's just inched over JD McGillicuddy's.
I'm just shocked that Barnaby's was our winner. I mean, Barnaby's is great. I love Barnaby's. I didn't foresee it going so far.
So now that they did win, I'm not surprised. When we're talking about classic Delco bars, Barnaby's is just a household name. Everybody knows. Everybody has their certain one that they go to. Yep. And I do think like a few times when I'm like, oh, I'm going to Barnaby's. People are like, oh, you're going to Barnaby's? I'm like, yeah, I'm super Delco. I'm going to Barnaby's. I love it there.
Now that Barnaby's has won, I don't even think they know they were in our competition or that people were voting on them. But we'll have to go there and have a little celebration for give them a trophy or something.
Absolutely.
They'll be so confused why we're there, why they're getting a trophy.
You can just come with me and my family. We go for dinner all the time. But that's why I think this was kind of truthful. Is none of the bars really knew that they were in the running.
No, that's what we like to do. When we talk about different Delco businesses, it's not like, they asked us to talk about them or we told them. We truly just go into some of these businesses and try their things, and then they find out, a week or two later that they were on television and they're horrified like or Romano's, excited.
The one time we did the original Stromboli, they were like, "Oh, we didn't know we were on this. Can we send you some?" It's like, "No, we already picked up the Stromboli. Thank you, but no."
It's like Undercover Boss.
Yeah,
you remember that? I don't even know. I don't think they make those shows anymore, but
no, people know.
They still play them. We're like Undercover Delco Duo, trying your business without you knowing.
Yes. So congratulations to Barnaby's. Go Barnaby's. We love you. And your boneless wings because they're heaven.
Oh, wow. What a journey we've been on. And now we're at Easter. I mean, Easter's tomorrow.
I know.
I feel like my head's spinning. I just don't know how we've gotten to the holidays.
Right.
To now we're in springtime. It just feels like
And I think you're right because Easter is definitely you turn that corner and now comes summer. Don't you feel like after
got
Easter?
Like a month and a half until Memorial Day. I mean, it's not that far away now. So,
wow, wowie, wow, that's so exciting. All right, let's get to our first issue of the night. This comes from Colin from Clifton Heights. My colleague complained about others booking time off during school holidays like Easter and spring break because that should be kept for parents with kids.
This is ridiculous. Like, I just, right off the bat, I can't see the side of the coworker. Nothing should be reserved for anyone when it comes to time off from your job. Yeah,
so I put this in, like I slugged it in for the pulling the kid card.
Pulling the kid card. I see that.
Do not be the one to pull the kid card because now that I do have kids, I can remember people pulling the kids card when I was working and I first was in the industry, and I would ask off for Christmas in advance. And then all of a sudden, I think I had like one of my Christmases taken away because a parent was like, hey, listen, I'm taking off Christmas. You can't. I've got kids. And I'm like, that's so hurtful.
Just because you did not have children at the time doesn't mean you are less than this person who does.
Absolutely. Your life and your plans and your I have a family. Yeah, I don't have kids, but I still have a family that wants to see me and wants to be, wants to celebrate. And just because I don't have kids doesn't mean I don't have a family.
It's interesting, though, because if we're talking about spring break in particular, if I am someone that has no kids and my kids don't have the week off from school, I actually think I'm avoiding spring break as a time to take off because it's just madness, and all places that are typical spring break places like Florida or Mexico or something,
This was the first year I think I saw a lot of family friends, a lot of with younger kids just jet set for spring break. And my kids are in daycare.
Still the buildup of, not being able to travel. I know that was,
that's true.
2 years ago that we were talking about, like, no one was going anywhere.
Yes.
So everyone's now like back to that normal.
Right.
But yeah, I do feel like I know a lot of people.
And so now I'm starting to think, when it comes time for when my kids are on spring break, because again, they're in daycare, they don't have a spring break, but when they're in like a regular school and they have spring break, am I going to be able to go away? Because I was at Target and it's like madness. There's kids everywhere. And I'm like, ooh, it's kind of either like you're stuck at home with kids on spring break or you have to go travel somewhere. So what's the lesser of the two evils?
It's also much more expensive to travel. So like if you don't have children and you're taking time off during spring break, like financially, I don't think you're doing yourself any favors because flights and the stay it's so just crazy. Different than maybe a random week in February or a random week in January.
Yep.
March and April, it's hard to travel.
It is, and it's just madness. And like you said, it's kind of like you're seeing. And
so what do you say to this coworker?
Well,
don't pull the kid card.
You can't pull the kid card and say that my family wants to see me. Remind them that you also have a family.
Or I want to travel. I work just as hard as you. If you have the same position and they're not management, you can totally say you cannot tell me how to use my time. I think it's wrong when people tell other people how to use their time off.
Yes, exactly. And that you kind of get the short end of the stick just because you're young and you don't have any kids yet, or you just decided not to.
Yeah. All right, so we have solved that issue for Colin from Clifton Heights. Just tell your coworker to shush. And coming up next, we're going to be talking about Easter egg hunts. I know your kids did one a couple weeks ago. That's the issue that we're talking about.
Yes.
Like how these communities are running these Easter egg hunts. So make sure
madhouses.
We're not running them.
Thanks for sticking with us for the Delco Duo. Real quick, since this is Easter themed, does your family have any Easter traditions other than like maybe the Easter egg hunt?
So I think I said this on our morning show. We always used to get a bathing suit. This is like a very weird Easter tradition, but in our Easter basket, we always got a bathing suit. And that for whatever reason has just stuck with me. And I know my sisters for their kids have kind of carried that on, and I would hope to, do the same for mine. But yeah, that's like what the first thing. And then of course church. We always got to go to church.
I'm getting ready. I'm excited because, usually church is just me and my husband with the two kids, and we're just kind of on like, one-on-one. So you take the baby, I'll take the older one. But
and we go to the same church, so I get to see Monica struggling from afar.
Because I go right to the back, I go right to the cry room, and Jenna just like turns around and looks at me, and she's like,
someone tell that lady to shut her kids up. They are so loud.
I don't know if you heard it the other day. So the cry room's like blocked off by like
it's
glass.
Not they make it seem like this glass is you're not gonna hear anything. Like, oh, you can still
especially
hear.
When the baby's banging on the glass. He's like, I don't know what you want me to do. If I pull him away, he'll scream. So I'd rather him just tap on the glass. But we have a lot more adults going to this Sunday, my parents are coming, my brother and sister.
It's a family affair.
I plan on,
a large family affair.
Yes, large family affair. I plan on kicking back this church.
You guys got it.
Paying attention.
That's my sister because I'll be with her kids.
Yes.
So, my husband
She's
and I.
She's probably feeling the same way. This is going to be a nice, I'll pay attention
give them
to the
credit,
homily.
though. It's hard. It is hard to, the mass can be long and you got to be quiet and you can't do this, you can't do that. So shout out to all the kids who are about to sit through,
And I know it sounds really, really bad, but Christmas, yes, it can be long, but there's like an entertainment factor, like all the songs, all the pageants and everything. And then
the kids
Easter
are just excited because they know Santa's coming, so they will do anything you say. Like, Santa's going to be here in an hour, so you better be quiet.
But Easter is a little less flashy, and I think that's the point of it.
And the bunny comes before church, so they don't have to be there for anyone.
Right. So, okay, let's get into our next topic. Our local Easter egg hunt was a disaster. No one followed directions, and the younger children barely found any eggs because of greedy parents.
The dog-eat-dog world out there, and, Easter egg hunts are no exception.
Yeah, Tammy from Trainer.
Your kids got to be ready. If they weren't hydrated, you didn't put the sneakers on them.
Hydrated.
That's your problem, Tammy.
Jenna's juicing up her kids before the Easter egg hunt.
We're practicing. We're practicing how to grab, throw a few elbows in there. No, I think the idea here is typically with Easter egg hunts, I know you were experiencing this, you do it age appropriately. So like this section's going to be for the 1 to 2 year olds.
Yes.
And this section, so, because obviously the 6-year-olds are going to crush the toddlers.
I don't even think you need to do sections. I think you need to do times. So like the
different starts.
Yeah, the 2 to 5 year olds are going to go first. They get a head start. A minute head start, you know what I mean? And then like a handicapped almost. And then from 5 to 10, I don't even know if these are good ages, but like 5 to 8, they go after the minute.
But I think it's even hard in the chaos of like lining up. Kids are so excited. It's so difficult. They see a kid go, we're all going. We're all going. I'm not waiting for you.
Yes.
I want to get candy. I want to get whatever.
You're right.
I think you kind of have to walk into these things and just expect it to be a mess.
Absolutely. And I think, Tammy, you're more upset by this than your kids are.
Unless they don't get any eggs.
No, Joe didn't get any eggs and she was okay with it. She was just like,
but Joe is
as long as I don't get run over, I'm fine.
Like your daughter is not your daughter.
I know.
She's terrified by attention.
Yes.
She's totally fine just being in the background. But for a kid that wants the eggs, like this could be scarring. This could be a scarring experience moving forward.
But then next year it's their year. You know what I mean? As you get older, you got to practice,
train them,
and that's life, man. That's life. That's the Easter egg hunt. It's the hunt of life. That's going to happen to them a million times.
It's a good lesson. Like not everyone gets a trophy. Not everyone's going to get 5 Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
It is sad though when my mom set up like a fun little, pre-Easter egg hunt with my niece and nephews. And obviously my niece is 7 and our youngest nephews are, 16 months at this point. And so, obviously, there was a big difference. And the 3-year-olds were like, I didn't get anything. And
yes,
you feel bad for them.
Well, okay. Do you think your, not your 1-year-old, but Jack?
Yeah.
He same age as Josephine. Josephine's she's 3.5. Do you think what we did, Jack would have been okay with? Eugene actually went up to the older kids that had like a ton of eggs in their basket and said, hey, can she have some of yours? And the kids were so sweet. And they're like, yeah, of course. And just gave it up.
I think boys, obviously different than girls. I think Jack would have just gone up and took them anyway.
That's what I just like.
So like that,
just take them from the older kids.
Mine. He's in that age right now where everything's mine.
Yes. Well, my husband had to do it for Josephine, but he went up and he just asked the older kids that didn't need all of that candy.
Well, I think as a parent, you need to prepare your older kid. Maybe share with the kids.
Share with them.
Because it's kind of, it gets hard when parents get involved because then you're like, are you taking my kids' Easter eggs?
Right.
It can get
and then, but another suggestion too is, Tammy, make sure you have multiple Easter egg hunts planned. So you've got the big neighborhood one, but make sure you have your smaller family one at home.
Bring some Easter eggs in your purse. Yeah. And then just like when your kid comes back, just
that's a good one.
Look, there's some there.
Oh, look, there's one with a $20 bill. Don't forget that.
All right, solved it for you, Tammy. Coming up next, table, and
it's quite funny.
This one is, you just gotta stay here.
Stay with us. Welcome back to the Delco Duo. You write in your issues that you have with neighbors, coworkers, spouses, and then we keep you completely anonymous. So no worries about revealing yourself. This is all about anonymity because your next topic needs anonymity.
Absolutely does.
Eisner needs an advisor.
So typically, this is the point where we'll talk about our own issues, and we very little try to stay anonymous because it's us. You know us, but
if it's like about our husbands,
right.
There's no
but
anonymity.
This is different. So, okay, Easter weekend. Obviously, it's a very holy, sacred time. Yeah. From Holy Thursday, taking us all the way through Easter Sunday is like the most holy time in the calendar year for the church.
Yes.
So a lot of churches encourage those to go to confession, kind of, clean slate, spring season. Lent is all about new life. So, rejuvenating yourself. So I had a friend.
This girl got some good Catholic education, ladies.
12 years of it. 12 years of it. So I have a friend who wanted to go to confession.
Yes.
So they went to confession, and they were waiting in the pew for their turn to go see the priest, and they noticed a piece of loose leaf paper that was also in this pew.
Right.
So not thinking anything of it, just thought it was trash, picked it up, does the confession.
Obviously take a quick glance.
Yeah, you look at it.
I would.
So somebody had wrote down their list of things that they were planning to confess.
Oh my gosh.
And left it in the pew. Clearly had to be an accident. There's no way that you...
No name?
No
Was
name.
Their name? Oh,
no name.
God.
So this person's anonymous as well. Have no idea who this person is.
Yes.
But the list was just so outrageous that this friend had to then... She sent a picture because she's like, I think I'm making this up. And she's
like, this is a prank. This is a prank.
She thinks someone planted this is here as a prank, but unfortunately, It is not a prank. It truly happened. So now we're all sinning because you're not supposed to know other sins. You're not. But this is just a situation where you have to see it to believe it, sort of thing.
Right.
So this list of confessions, we can't even put it on television.
People might recognize the handwriting.
No, not even the handwriting, but it's just not television appropriate, even though this is a late night show.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it's not that bad, but it's not that great either. But more so the issue here is internal issue. What do you do? Obviously, you throw this piece of paper out, but
you laugh about it.
Now this lives in your head for... every single time you're in this pew, you're going to be thinking of this person.
I'm saving this piece of paper. It's hysterical. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Someone writing down their confession.
Have you ever done that? I mean, I know. Have you ever made a concrete list of things that you were going to be confessing?
You are writing a concrete list of sins. No, I have not, because
situations like this, you might leave it somewhere.
Yeah, you might, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do with that?
That's what I mean. Like, this person, how do you think they feel realizing that they don't have this piece of loose leaf anymore?
That really
or maybe after they were done confessing, they felt so light and free that they just didn't even care anymore, and they left it there.
I just love that they were probably in the pew like, all right, here's what I'm gonna say. Here's how I'm gonna word it. And then all of a sudden the priest is like, next, and they're just like, all right, here we go. Put the paper down, forgetting that it's got some revelations on there. It makes me
like, I'm cringing.
That is so funny.
I just can't.
Well, I feel like the person was nervous. I know when I would go to confession.
Oh, it's very nerve-wracking.
It is. I don't know why.
Because you're about to tell somebody, all your flaws, all the things that you do wrong. And I think that, even though it is a priest or whoever you're confessing to, it's still just a person.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, they're not.
Do you want to hear my confession story?
Oh, boy.
So I go to confession, and I hadn't been in a while, just because, confession to me was not necessarily an every week thing. Like I would go to church every week but
I think for many people, I mean, to be honest, I can't. The last time I think I went to confession it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. So I get there.
Definitely racking up the sins.
And I'm like, all right, so same thing in my head. I'm like, here's what I'm going to talk about. Like, here's what I want to talk about.
Well, you need a game plan.
You do.
Having a game plan is totally fine.
And this guy did. Your friend's guy did. But so I get in there. I said, forgive me, Father, I have sinned. It's been 2 years since my last confession. And then I go to get into the confession, and the priest just starts going off on me about how I am bad because I haven't been to confession in forever.
And that's the problem. That's why people are afraid to go and don't want to go.
So he goes off, and
I've never had that experience. Normally they're like, that's okay. You're here now.
Yeah, and I just go, oh, okay, so since you seem to think that that's the worst thing I've done,
that's my sin.
I'm out. I'm not going to confess anything more, because if you think that's the worst, let me tell you what I did last night, the night before. Like, no, I don't need to tell you the rest of my sins, because you clearly think something I didn't even consider that bad, the worst. So I was like, peace out.
The moral of the story is don't write your confessions down on a loose leaf piece of paper and then leave them for others to find and then others to talk about on television.
It's going to be talked about. It's hysterical when you see other people's like inner workings in their head. You know what I mean?
I hope this person feels light and free as, they have confessed their sins. All right, Delco trivia. Let's take you there. Favorite time of the night for many. I had to do some investigative journalism for this.
And no better person than Jenna Meisner. In 1919, how much did a Delco company advertise Easter eggs for in the local magazine? We'll think about it. Stay with us. All right, more than 100 years ago, how much did a Delco company advertise Easter eggs for in a local magazine? The answer is prices ranged from 1 cent to $1.50.
You got it.
$1.50. And I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out Easter eggs.
So that's the debate here. So if we take a look at the ad, it's on the far left, the middle ad. Don't forget Murphy & Co., Chester Pike and Parker Avenue. If you want fresh homemade Easter eggs, prices 1 cent to $1.50. So Monica and I were sort of debating.
You thought they were real eggs.
I'm thinking like chicken eggs. Like I'm thinking like what you're using to make breakfast. But you thought.
I think the homemade thing is like the chocolate eggs. A chocolate egg. Easter egg. Yeah.
It's just a weird. And I feel like they would call it an egg if it was just an egg.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's Easter egg.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Easter egg, 1 cent. One of the small chocolate ones, but then you get like a dozen for $1.50, which doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's 1919, so I mean, nowadays eggs you'll be broke if you even. Did you dye eggs this year?
Yes. No, we're doing that tonight.
Oh, so we dyed eggs, and I was just thinking like, this is an expensive activity this year.
And it's so funny because I think nowadays people kind of forgo that and they just do the ones. The eggs that you put the candy or money into and hide those. But we used to hide.
Well, dyeing eggs is kind of boring. The kids have to watch it sit in there. And then you just have to wait and tell them not to touch anything. Like, it's like, okay, now wait.
It smells. Remember that
vinegar? Okay. If you are dyeing Easter eggs, hopefully it's fun.
Thanks for joining us.
If you want to talk with us, Delco Duo at phl17.com. Submit your issues.
Yes, you can also contact us on any of our social medias. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Have a great Easter. Jinx.